Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death for Americans. More than 41,000 suicides were reported in the most recent full year of statistics available. Find out how two local women are turning their tragedies into something positive next on Connecting Our Communities. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Connecting Our Community. I'm Karen Allen. Losing a child is something nobody should have to go through, but to lose a child to suicide is unimaginable. Our guests tonight each have the tragic loss of a child in common, and each has chosen to try to make something positive out of their tragedies. Susan Rosenstock is one of the founders, co-founders, I should say, of You Matter, Your Life Matters. You Matter is a community of young adults, teenagers, etc., leading a movement to change the story from bullying, depression, and suicide to a compassionate culture where every person matters, every life matters. And Linda Diaz. Linda is one of the active volunteers and a leading volunteer with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Each of them have amazing stories. Actually, it's hard to imagine how each has gone through what they've gone through with the loss of a child and risen to the organizations that they're each involved in. Wow. Thank you so much for coming. We've met before on my show, so I know that we're comfortable with each other. Yes. Susan, the loss of Evan, and Linda, the loss of Loren, seriously unexpected and horrific, each in their own ways. Do you want to talk a little bit, each of you, both about your beautiful children before we get to your organizations? You want to start, Susan?
Sure.
And we have some beautiful pictures of your basketball-loving son.
Right. Yeah, Evan was a great kid, and I have to say that it wasn't just in my opinion, it was the community that really felt he was a great kid. And he had a basketball injury when he was in his sophomore year at Churchill High School. And with that, after he had to have surgery and felt that he was hopeless because he couldn't play basketball again, even though he could the following summer. So with that, he fell into a depression, and in 4 short months, he went from this effervescent Evan to having taken his own life.
We're talking about a tall, handsome young man who was never without a basketball.
That's true, and a friend.
Yeah, and he never had any signs of depression before. So that right there, it's not that you missed something. You were actually on top of it when he did go into a downward spiral. And I know it's more of a complicated story, and there's a lot more to it. And in any event, it's a tragedy when someone takes their own life. And you did mention something to me that I want to bring up, and that was, you know, when kids and adolescents are prescribed antidepressants, there's a warning on the label that says this could lead to suicide, you have to watch the signs, etc. And he might have been possibly one of those kids, but you saw the signs and you did something about it and you tried, and still perhaps people didn't listen to you, or perhaps we're not sure of the whole thing, and I don't want to, spend the show entirely blaming it, etc. But you did everything you could, for sure.
Thank you.
And I'm so sorry, again, for your loss. And out of that, I know grew an amazing organization that surprised even you.
Yes.
I'm going to put that on hold for a second.
Sure.
Linda Diaz, your beautiful 15-year-old Loren.
Yes.
That was another downward slide that was a terrible story of non-acceptance and bullying. And tell us about the beautiful Loren, who I know that you were like this with, so tight with. So this really is even more of a shocker.
Yes.
Because there were signs and you did see them.
I did. And Loren, we always called her Loving Loren. She was an old soul, beautiful, vibrant. She just turned 15, but her entire life, her sister and I we were the Three Musketeers. We did everything together. There wasn't anything that we didn't do together. And she was a freshman in high school. She was aspiring to be the youngest qualifier in the 2000 Olympics for skeet and trap shooting or archery, whichever one she could actually compete in. She loved school. She loved science and math. She was a huge humanitarian. She was a great sister, a great aunt, and an even better daughter. We all called her Mini Me because she was an exact replica of me, inside and out. So when she started to have a downward spiral, and I started to see the signs, I did reach out, and unfortunately she didn't get the help that we could get her, and unexpectedly she left me. And it was something that is a pain that I live with every day, and it breaks my heart every day. But every day that broken heart gets back up because there's another child out there that might need our help. And that's the reason why Susan and I take our tragedies and we walk with the pain and we embrace the pain, because we don't want any other parents to endure what we are going through every day and every waking moment of our lives.
And when you say every day and every waking moment, I believe you. I absolutely believe you, because I've followed your organizations and your activities and other parents like you on Facebook, and I've seen a tremendous outpouring of support. There is a sad, sad group that support each other, that to pay the price to get in there is not worth it, but you're there. You didn't want to be there, but you're there. It's an awful, awful specific group that no one can be there but those who actually have paid that awful price. But you helped a bill get passed that just recently passed, actually, in 2015. And that is a pride and joy. Quickly explain what that did. And then I want to also explain what happened after Susan's terrible tragedy, and something rose there too. What did you do, Linda? Because that's an amazing, also you just got an award. We want to talk about that too. And then we want to get the community involved.
Yes.
What happened that you, which very amazing, that you got a bill passed?
Well, after hearing many cries for help from other children,
because Loren's friends came to you.
Because Loren's friends come to me, and after hearing the many cries from them and others that were affected not just by her suicide but other things around them, it became hard for me to ignore it. And one of the things that Loren did when she was here is she was there for her friends that were depressed, and they confided in her. So I figured, well, let me help Loren's love to continue, and let me help her friends. And I wanted to reach out to the school, and I wanted to reach out to other parents, and I wanted the school to provide more reading material. And that's when I got involved with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, to become more knowledgeable, to get trained, to receive more information, and to study suicide, because it's such a taboo and no one wants to speak about it. So I decided to charge it and gain as much knowledge as I could from it. With that came the doors being shut and the meetings that I didn't get. And with that came more pain for more kids. And I decided one day that I couldn't take this anymore. I was doing walks, and I was spreading awareness, and I was supporting everyone and organizations that I could with regards to suicide, and I wanted to put it out there, and I wanted to spread the knowledge. But it wasn't going where I needed it to go, which was to other parents, so that they can see their children's depression and see the signs, because I was seeing them, but the parents clearly couldn't see them. And with that came some more research, and I reached out and I sent some massive information with a lot of background to hand-picked delegates and senators for Maryland. And out of that, Delegate Jocelyn Pena Melnick reached out and called me back when I expressed my story and explained everything that I was going through and that other families were going through and that the children were suffering, Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick took great action, and we worked together and did some research and came to find out that Maryland did not require that school counselors be certified in mental health or any underlying basis of suicide prevention, which was my sole reason of reaching out to my daughter's counselor for help for her.
And to bring it full circle, because Loren did not get to see her counselor at all, despite asking, etc. She didn't even know her counselor, basically. And
Yes.
the counselor didn't understand how her grades were dropping, what was going on, and eventually Loren actually took her own life, as we know. You got the bill passed that said they must be trained.
Yes.
Correct? In
That is
certain,
correct. And
that's what
with the
happened.
help of Susan and other parents, we all fought to have
Right.
this bill passed.
And what I think what we're trying to show here is that to speak out, to take action, to volunteer, which we're going
Yes.
to talk about in the next segment, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is where you are now very active, and we're recently honored as the outstanding parent volunteer. What did you
Parent
get?
advocate.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yes.
big stuff, and congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to come back in a couple and talk to Susan about You Matter, UMTTR, Every Life Matters, which is what came out of Evans taking his own life. Don't go anywhere.
When you donate goods in response to an international disaster, it's expensive.
They have to cross the sea, pass through customs, be inspected, sorted, then finally delivered.
And often they arrive too late to help, making your good intentions feel a little empty.
There is a better way.
Cash donations are fast, simple, and allow professional relief workers to purchase supplies close at hand.
Cash is best. Learn more at CIDI.org.
It's our duty to serve veterans and military families who serve their country in the most difficult ways imaginable. Together, we can say thank you in so many ways. Small acts of kindness mean more than anything. With our support, veterans and military families can face even the most difficult challenges. Let's honor their service with ours.
We are back with Linda Diaz with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Susan Rosenstock with You Matter, UMTTR. Both lost their children to suicide. I want to talk about You Matter because that's Susan Rosenstock's baby, and she co-founded it with her beloved son, Evan's friends. After Evan's tragic death, you were surprised. What happened?
We all were surprised because this, again, just didn't seem like in 4 months this could happen with, as you mentioned earlier, getting help that we needed. So after his death, 4 kids independently came up to me and said we should do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and raise money for teen suicide and depression. So the community really rallied around Evan's death and birthed You Matter. And Evan took his life on May 20th, and by July 4th, we had a website, we had wristbands they were selling, and that's it. And then from there, the 3-on-3 tournament was actually in September. So from May to September, it was a major tournament that has been generating revenue for organizations such as AFSP, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We support the Positive Coaching Alliance, NAMI Montgomery County, and they implement a program called Sources of Strength. So really it's by kids for kids that is working, and the volunteer base is from all reaches of the community now. In Maryland, we're in PG County, thank you to Linda, and doing events at Laurel High School and reaching out to others in that age range to help continue the mission of preventing suicide. saving the life.
That's amazing. I know that you've told me in the past that your group of You Matter has been invited to go around the U.S. with a group from D.C. and other groups. Remind me about that, Susan.
Well, what has happened is the First Lady has launched the Campaign to Change Direction, which is going to change the direction of mental health by informing the public of the 5 signs of emotional distress. So
And we want to share those today, too.
right, and so we are part of a regional movement here, along with others in the country, New York, Chicago, LA, other much larger cities than Maryland.
The little old tiny You Matter, right?
Right.
That's a real honor
It
to be included.
is. It is. And we had, out of 400 people, we had over 400 at the launch. And in being able to get You Matter, generating revenue, being able to put these programs in place, supporting the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, will then change direction in mental health, reducing the stigma and informing people of what those 5 signs are so they can look for it in themselves or others.
We should inform our viewers right now, right, Linda?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Change in personality.
right. The 5 signs of emotional suffering to look for, again, in yourself and others, are change in personality, agitation, withdrawal, decline in self-care, and hopelessness. And in order to educate, we pledged to educate 70,000, but I think we're going to be doing a lot more than that. Montgomery County students, as well as statewide, with posters in the schools, particularly in the stalls, that have been sponsored by AFSP and You Matter to be put into all of Montgomery County schools.
That is really, really important.
Informing everybody.
That is really important. Now, each of your groups are doing outreach, right?
Yes.
And you also, let's just talk about that. Those are the 5 signs. What should parents look for as far as signs of bullying?
Well, with signs of bullying, it can be different things. One of the main things that our children would go through is very bad mood swings, and you would see a lot of anger in them. With Loren, she showed anger, and if I asked, what happened, if everything was okay, she would immediately snap out of whatever mind frame she was in and give me a great excuse about she was working on a school project and she was just a little under pressure and she didn't mean to snap at me, and she would instantly apologize. It wasn't an ongoing thing. But then you have some children who just won't say anything at all. They just keep everything inside, and everything changes. The things that you knew that they loved last week all of a sudden became something that they don't like anymore. If you notice they've changed their appearance. Maybe they were, a little bit more flashy and decide that they want to cover up. They're just different signs. And the most important thing that I can say that when it comes to depression or suicidal ideations is that your child changes. It doesn't take a long time, and it's going to be quick, and it's going to be sudden, and you're going to see it, and it's not typical teenage behavior, which is what parents are used to. Adolescence and mood swings and puberty, that's not it anymore. It's actually increased. Children are now starting to suffer from bullying as young as, I've heard, kindergarten.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if you don't,
definitely elementary school, definitely kindergarten.
exactly.
Amazing. Yep.
And if your child changes overnight and goes from what they were before to what they are at that moment, just take a moment and just talk to them and ask them, is there something going on that you're afraid to tell me? Because you can talk to me. And what they need to know is that you're their safety, so that they can come to you and confide in you. And if they don't, then that burden continues. And that is when they go deeper into the darkness, and that silence takes over.
That's horrible. What are suicide rates higher for girls or boys? Do the experts see higher rates by race or socioeconomic levels, or is there any indications that those are factors at all?
There have been studies done, but the one thing that's probably most important to realize is suicide is the second leading cause of death for all children, regardless of socioeconomic background, race, religion, or any type of other determining factor, between 10 and 24. Second leading cause of death.
Isn't that
between
just horribly
10
unbelievable?
and 24.
Tragically unbelievable. Each of you are in You Matter, and of course with suicide prevention. How can the community get involved? Because after this show, if you don't get involved, you know, hello. How can, I know that you need tons of volunteers, and you welcome pretty much everybody. I know the big thing is the walks. They're every year.
Yes.
Talk about the walk for the prevention, for suicide prevention, first of all.
The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has community walks. They have overnight walks, and they also have campus walks where a lot of the universities get together and they have walks. And what they do, it's a fundraiser to help to raise awareness.
Right.
And we need lots of volunteers. We have walks in almost every state. And I've done walks in multiple counties in Maryland. I've also done the walk in DC. And you can have thousands of people show up and support everything that we do, and that's great. And what we want is more. We want to be able to provide all of the tools for every person to be able to understand and know the signs, not just for our children, but for everyone, because suicide does not discriminate.
Right.
It doesn't
Absolutely.
discriminate just with age. Unfortunately, the children are our future, and that's the reason. It's not the only reason, but that is a great reason
Sure.
for Susan and I, because we lost our children.
We will be giving out the information for the website for people to volunteer, because you just need tons of them, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You Matter. Volunteering for you means what?
Volunteering for us is really, it's a community of teens. Mostly, I would say the average volunteer at this point is as early as 7th grade, through seniors in high school, for fundraisers, for help distributing signs to promote the walks. We are very involved in the grassroots level of getting out there and really making people hear our voice. And so we have people who come to my home and fold shirts, to people who map out routes for different events, restaurant fundraisers, pretty much when someone comes to me and says, what can I do to help? I find out what their expertise is and say, how do you think you can help? And that's where we're able to empower, motivate, educate, and communicate to all of our volunteers the same message.
Okay, and it's the same walk, right? The suicide
Yes.
prevention
Yes.
walk. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's the same walk.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that there's not walks I didn't understand and there were more walks.
No,
but
no,
it's the
there's
same
one in
walk.
Montgomery County that I'm working with as well,
Right.
and Linda is...
And I'm doing one in Prince George's County, but
Right.
I also volunteer in multiple walks. So
Right.
even though I am the co-chair
Okay.
for the Prince George's County Out of the Darkness walk, I will also be a volunteer at the Montgomery County
Okay, it's all together.
Out of the
okay.
Darkness walk.
Right.
Yes.
Because before we go, I want to make sure that I get this straight, because we want to give out the websites and the phone numbers and everything. So the first thing I think I want to say is, if you're in a crisis, call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK, okay? It's right there on your screen. That's number one. Now, if you want information about You Matter, visit the website there, umttr.org, right there in front of you. And you can call 202-679-6869 as well, and their email is right there on the screen, and of course you'll find Susan all over, Susan Rosenstock all over that one. And I should say, aren't you on Facebook too?
Yes, yes.
I should know that since I follow you.
Yes.
Okay.
And Twitter.
And Twitter. Follow you there too.
Right.
Okay.
At You Matter One.
You Matter One. Very good. Thank you very much. Now, for more information about Linda Diaz, and boy, you can find her all over Facebook too, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP. You can visit the website, afsp.org. Linda's all over Facebook too, and I think the regional guy that we've interviewed before, actually, on my show is Ryan Newcomb, and he is also all over Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, that's now. I want to end with one thing: mymcmedia.org. If you want to connect with Connecting Our Community, the blog for this very show, it's mymcmedia.org. Okay. Now, let me thank our wonderful guests, Linda Diaz, Susan Rosenstock. Thank you so much. All the best. Good luck. Keep working. Keep active. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Karen Allen, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Did you know that since 1963, the Literacy Council of Montgomery County has provided English language instruction for adults?
Expiration, it's abbreviated, right?
LCMC offers a variety of free or low-cost learning pathways for students at all levels, including individual, small group, and classroom options.
Comparing the compound sentences.
We rely on volunteers to help provide many of our direct services, along with professional educators.
Was here, Excellency, I don't have to teach you.
The Literacy Council of Montgomery County serves 1,500 learners annually. If you'd like more information about our adult literacy programs, or you would like to volunteer, please call 301-610-0030 or go to literacycouncilmcmd.org.